Hi there. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just fine. You're looking
Okay.
very, very dapper, Peter. Pete?
Thank you.
Sorry,
Oh,
you're not in
that's
trouble
okay.
yet. Is your full name Pete or Peter?
Peter.
Oh, okay. Hi, Shelley. Oh, I can't hear you. You seem to be unmuted, but I can't hear you. No.
That any better?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Derek.
Evening.
Okay,
Is
I
that
guess
Michelangelo or Leonardo in that picture?
which picture? Which picture?
Derek.
Oh,
Well, I'm half nude. That helps.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down much.
we are recording, people. So I will just remind everybody to be aware, those who are online with us viewing, that if you're attending this meeting, our meetings are recorded for future viewing. And we are privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwa speaking peoples. So I'll call the meeting to order. And before we adopt the agenda under old business, if we could put council meetings, we'll just have a quick chat about that at that point. Are there any other additions or amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, then if I can have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Moved. Seconder. Yep, all those in favor. Opposed, carried. Great, thank you. No petitions or delegations this evening. So we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes, January 12th, regular council meeting. We'll move to adopt from Shelley, seconder.
Me.
Okay, great. First, second, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Sorry, I was muted. I was trying to talk. My
Oh,
mistake.
sorry. Okay, sorry. We'll
It's
go
not-
back. What
not
did you
your-
want?
Not
That's
your
okay.
fault. On the second page, page 6 on our agenda, it says move second carried that a new member be appointed to the Harbor Advisory Group. Well, I understood that I voted for Glenn Boyd to be on the Harbor Advisory Group. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yep.
Right. So I believe that should be recorded in the minutes.
Mhm.
It wasn't
Okay.
just a new person. It was Glenn Boyd.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry. So then we'll just back up then to approve the minutes as amended then. Okay, perfect. Okay, and next we go on to minutes of the January 15th Committee of the Whole. Move to adopt. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Oh, sorry, any discussion on those? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you. Okay, 5A correspondence. This is a letter dated January 6th from CO Greg Fletcher from the Regional District of Mount Waddington. And so they are looking to provide backup emergency power to the Chilton Arena. And the electoral meeting, an electoral director meeting, the electoral directors voted in favor of, they actually put an application in. So this is pending their application approval. And so they are looking for 1/3 project costs coming from the town of Port McNeill or other sources if we decide not to support this. What's your pleasure, council? Go ahead, Councillor Downey. Oh, you're not, I can't hear you again now. Weird.
With these
Oh,
funds
mhm.
coming out of our COVID 10% allocation for safety.
Okay, you're very, very quiet, so I don't know if you can lean in or, so you're asking if they're coming out of that COVID allocation?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be up to council, but I would imagine it would apply. Councillor Cole?
I would like to tackle that during budget time, but I'm prepared to make a motion. We just support the 1/3 funding and figure it out later.
Okay. So, and it's up to a maximum of 16,000.
I'll second that.
Okay.
um,
Further
not because-
discussion? Yeah.
Not because I'm in favor of it.
Okay.
I looked it over. I don't see, there's no business case for it here. That was obviously handled at the regional district level. They're just looking for us to share in the funding of something that I don't personally happen to agree with because I don't like the technology. It doesn't, I don't see how it benefits the town of Port McNeill. It increases the operating costs. It increases the opportunity for capital or maintenance expenses in terms of battery replacements and maintenance. Controllers wear out, and of course there's staff time involved. So this is just an ongoing cost, just like the windmill that we had that the previous council bought that cost us countless thousands of dollars last year, and then it crashed onto the ground, and now we got to go buy a power backup that we actually need. This arena has operated for a long time without having backup power at this level. And I don't see why they need it now, but if they do, I think they should find the money somewhere else. I don't think we should ask the citizens of Port McNeill to cough up for something that doesn't have any apparent need. There's another need that they brought up for the arena that I think is really important that we need to support.
Okay.
This isn't it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Cole?
Can you hear me? No,
Yeah,
probably not. Okay, sorry. Yes, thanks, Councilor Mitchell, for that. I did have similar concerns. I did talk to Greg Fletcher about it. They are 20-year lithium batteries, presumably guaranteed for 20 years. Any replacement of the batteries will come out of their operating fund. Would be their regional district staff looking after it. We have the option of using our gas tax money or whatever funding we want. What kind of sold me on it is if our town office is down. Okay, just to back up, the regional district office does have battery backup, but it only has certain capacity. So during a long outage, they wouldn't have any office function. So they have internet from the office to the arena. So essentially the regional district office could move over to the arena for a substantial period of time. And the way it was described to me is that our town staff could take advantage of that as well. And this might negate some issues we have with the town office as well. So maybe if we did agree to this, that could be clarified by, or at any rate, actually, if our CAO could comment if that's his understanding or if that's something we could put in the agreement.
Just before our CAO chimes in here, I wanted to say this will also make this building available for emergency services. And I want to apologize to council because late today I reached out to Greg Fletcher. The proposal was part of the director's package, which was many pages long, and I got the proposal for council to take a look at. I can forward it to you. We could also table this as well. And Pete, did you want to add anything from Councillor Cole's question or?
No, not much to add. I hadn't heard that availability. I think maybe important to add just on that is the town is equipped with battery backup. We just have no way of charging it right now with the windmill down. So, we can run indefinitely at the town office too, provided that we can start recharging those batteries that we have.
Councillor Barron, did you want to add or? Okay, and then Councillor Mitchell?
I was gonna say, what availability, like, it's not wheelchair accessible to go upstairs. So I guess you have washrooms and kind of the holding pen area and the propane stove, but like I'm not really seeing how the office end of it, I'm kind of understanding that, but I'm not understanding what the expanded regional emergency center would mean. So I would rather table it and get
Okay.
just a little bit of clarification before I said no, because on the face, I wouldn't support it, to
Okay.
be honest.
Yeah, and I can do that for you. And again, I apologize that I didn't have that for everybody ahead of time. So if everybody's in favor of tabling it, we'll do that. We'll put it on the next agenda and I will hand this package out to everybody to read.
Well, I posed a question, so we should just vote on it and then take it.
Well,
from
there
there.
wasn't a secondary yet. So was there? Oh, yes, there was. Sorry,
Brian did,
you're correct. Yeah, you're
The
correct.
motion to table is a privileged motion, and I'll second the motion to table.
Do we have to vote on Derek's
The
motion
privilege-
first?
You have to vote on the motion to table first.
Okay. So a seconder to table then?
That was me.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, who motioned it? Oh, never mind. Okay, never.
Anne Marie.
Okay, thank you, Anne Marie. Okay, so all those in favor of tabling?
For more information.
Great. Opposed, carried. I will get that to you after this meeting, as a matter of fact. Apologies again.
Can we get some more information from Greg Fletcher as well and on some of the,
Well,
or
I'll
maybe
give
you have that information.
Yeah,
is what
I've
you're
got
saying.
the
Okay.
package, the application for the entire project. So I'll just send that to you. It should have everything that you need. Okay. Oh, sorry. B, letter dated from Jerry Little regarding arena, a little Zamboni, whatever you call those cart things. What's your pleasure on this one? They're adorable, by the way. Go ahead, Councillor Downey. Oh, I can't hear you again. I'm not sure what's going on tonight.
While these skate aids may be adorable in terms of functionality and using them, they don't actually have a way for a parent to push somebody around, which is what the ones we have up there that do allow for. And on that same website that for this supplier, they have other skating aids that are like $50 and not as elaborate. So I don't know that it's warranted at this caliber, at this price point.
Okay. I think you said it's not warranted at this price point. You're really, really quiet, and I'm not sure why, but that's what I keep leaning in as though that's going to make a difference. Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's a great idea to support the program, but I think I would probably go with somebody who knows what the heck the equipment is. I don't know anything about it, but I certainly support doing things to support, help kids in sport.
Okay, I think what they're looking in specifically is for this little Zamboni thing. So I'm not really hearing any uptake on it. So receive and file the letter then?
Sure.
Okay, moved, seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. All right, on to 5C, letter dated January 8th for the softball from the BC Softball, BC Canada Softball Association. Again, what's your pleasure?
Could I ask a question?
Yes, go
Is
ahead.
there any support from the local softball league for this?
I will defer to Pete. I know he's been trying to get a hold of the local softball association.
No, I haven't had any correspondence with them since I think late spring when we were asking to share the field. I reached out to them a couple of times and didn't get much of a response. So I'm not entirely sure if they're still functioning.
Personally, I'll chime in here. I would rather support our local softball association than this organization. I'm sure they're good, but I'm fairly certain, and I think we even had a letter last year of the fact that they were struggling a bit. So, at this time, I wouldn't be in favor of supporting this larger association. Okay, so if everybody is in agreement, then just receive and file. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. Thank you. Letter dated January 13th, Statistics Canada. So this is census year. They're looking for a resolution. Not sure we need to make a resolution. I think it would be appropriate to receive and file, but with instructions to promote on our website, on Facebook. I think that's how we've usually done it. And in the past, we've had pretty good participation. I'm not sure a resolution is going to increase participation. Certainly councillors communicating with the public and the importance of it, in my opinion, probably goes a lot further than a resolution. I'd be curious to hear what other thoughts are, though. Quiet
I'm
bunch
thinking
today.
there's a lot of paperwork to fill out lately with surveys and so on. So I'm a little reluctant.
Yeah, but
Be
census
pushing it.
is important, right?
It isn't, but we just got this OCP thing. We're trying to get people to fill out surveys too. And you got another bloody survey.
Councillor Barron?
Hopefully Derek can do another little video and that'll get it snapping.
Oh, I'll second that.
I was just gonna say, not that, but if we were gonna do a motion or some awareness, it should be closer to the date. So yeah, we should just hold on to that thought, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need a motion, though, to just instruct staff as we get closer to the time. Is everybody okay with just promoting it through town log, social media, and any other way that we can possibly do it? Anybody feeling the need to make a resolution as stated on the sheet here?
No.
Are we good with just the usual? Okay. So then receive and file. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great. 7A, December 2020, Volunteer Fire Department Operations Report.
Receive and file.
Okay. Seconder for that. Okay. Just before we vote on that, I just wanted to let you know that I was in on a call, a Zoom call. Mayor Dugas called with UBCM Small Communities representative and some island small community mayor, mostly those that have a volunteer fire department, and just looking at ways. I think you remember the letter that came last year of seeing how perhaps small municipalities can capture some of the percentage that's already on our insurance premiums. Something that I noted, and I will bring it forward to this committee, is I think that our rescue calls sit somewhere around the 50% or higher. And I would be curious to know if other small municipalities have the same thing. Because for me, that certainly would be, if we had a quantitative data, would be able to bring something forward to say, look, 50% of our calls are road rescue or 60% of our calls are road rescue. And that could also give a benchmark perhaps for asking for 50% funding or something like that. But just something that I noted, I see that we're often doing highway rescue, and I'm sure that other municipalities are in the same boat. So I'll keep you apprised what happens with that committee. All right, all those in favor of receipt? Okay, thank you. Opposed? Carried. Item B, Harbor and Information Center report. Anybody? Counselor Downey?
Motion to receive and file.
Okay. Seconder for that? Any further discussion? Counselor Barron, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, there was a note in there about assessments, and that to me would fit in with the safety program, the way that it's been worded. And there was an ask there for further operations to be reported if we had anything that we wanted.
And did you have anything else? No. Okay. I did reach out to Luke again because we have the boat counts, and I said that that wasn't really very helpful for us. I noticed that the number of boats didn't change too much, but I don't think last year we had as many large yachts. At least it didn't look very full in the harbor. So just, I believe council had asked for this once before, so I just asked Luke if next time we could have I think Councillor Mitchell, it was you asking for feet, not just the boat count, but how many feet is a,
Sure, what's your capacity? That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Okay.
said he will do that at the next report for us.
Okay. The only comment I have on this report is that I think it to me, it brings out the need to split the museum and the tourist side from the harbor. If that makes sense. The visitor information center, the museum should be together and the harbor should stand alone, I believe. There's no relationship, no direct relationship between the two parts of this report. And I think we need to pursue that in another venue. I just want to mention that.
Okay. All right. All those in favor then of receipt? Opposed, carried. Thanks. Committee of the whole recommendation, move for discussion. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some discussion on this. Good, seconder. Okay. So how does council feel about, we'll tackle the first section, the 2021 budget allocation section. I know there was a little bit of communication on back and forth on some emails. So how's council feeling on the percentages that we have and where it's allocated? Was there any questions that you had before we move to adopt this recommendation?
Only that I thought that we had sort of agreed that it would be not set in concrete.
Yes.
There was
Yeah,
some
my-
general guidelines.
Yeah, general guidelines, and I was under the understanding, and correct me, council, that we were then to put more parameters around it. For example, on the service for vulnerable persons, who could access, so on and so forth. Councillor Cole.
Yes, that's what I'm wondering, when we're going to establish those parameters. If we feel the community's in need, I feel there's community groups and organizations that could tap into all these funds.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure why we wouldn't consider any applications, especially if they meet the criteria set out for COVID restart funds. The most important being, I think, nonprofit society. And then I wondered if we're just following our regular grant and aid process and forms and the timing. How long is this going to take to roll out?
Yeah, I would imagine our regular grant and aid, and I'm going to defer to Pete in a moment, would not be sufficient because the COVID recovery grant has stricter guidelines. Pete, can you comment on that, please?
Thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. Yeah, in speaking with our CFO, Claudia Frost today, she did highlight that aspect of this funding, is that we do have a duty to report to the province any expenditures. So in providing a grant and aid to any of the not-for-profits or anyone else, we would, as a municipality, be responsible for reporting back on exactly what that not-for-profit did with the money. So if they came asking for new front doors to their building, just for an example, and they ended up spending it on leather jackets. for all
Uh-oh.
of the key members. It would be up to us to, follow up receipt tracking and ensure the province knew exactly where that money went.
I do have a question, Pete, on the not-for-profit status. Do we know exactly what the government requires? Do they have to have financials? Like what's the level that they gauge the not-for-profit that we can partner with the funds? Do you know that?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I know in other areas that I've worked, we've looked for a society number or some sort of verification that they are indeed a not-for-profit.
I guess my only concern would be I would want to double check to make sure that the government didn't require that they needed audited financial statements or something like that. Because if we don't do this right, we can put future funding in jeopardy. I know that was strongly communicated to the regional district and their finance person. Councillor Downey, were you going to say something?
Thought is that I think we're okay if it's not done quickly, as long as it's done correctly.
Okay, Councillor Barron?
Maybe the vulnerable persons is what we're getting hung up on here.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I suggested it, I was going off literally what was in the letter, and it just fit. I mean, I have no issue if we want to change that from vulnerable persons to, say, nonprofit charitable organizations, which is what's in the cheat sheet, in addition to the vulnerable persons. But I think any nonprofit that comes forward, more than likely you could make an argument is, well, maybe not vulnerable, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But any nonprofit that comes forward still has to fit into these other categories. And as I said in my email, my thought was to put some parameters around our spending too. So if we want to call it 30% for vulnerable persons / nonprofits, we still are holding 50% back that we get to decide where that funnels out to.
So we can certainly, when we do the next COW meeting, I think that's something we can hash out there. So we're just looking just for a basic allocation at this time. So if people are okay with the percentages the way they are, we can work out the other in a committee of the whole, which we probably will be having in the next week or two. Yes, Councillor Cole?
Yeah, I'm okay with the percentages. I just want to make the point that, say, 50% of addressing revenue shortfalls could apply to, say, a group like the Lions or, another group like that that's really struggling right now. So I'm really resisting. And same with computer and electronic technology, a small cost could really help with a nonprofit struggling with that issue, or help somebody in our community adapts. And I know we all think we're not 100% connected with the community. So by leaving this open to anyone to just apply, and then we look at each application on its own merits if they meet the criteria. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Councillor Mitchell.
And I think there is some urgency to get this money to work in the community so people can benefit from it. I don't think we need to spend too much time ruminating on it. I understand one more meeting is fine. I have no problem with that. But we need to not complicate the process. I think we need to get that money out there and get it to work in the community. That's why it was given to us in part.
Yeah. And also keeping in mind that we don't know what this next year is going to hold as well. So we don't know how much longer we're going to be in this particular situation. And there could be further shortfalls. Councillor Downey?
Clarify, when I say not act quickly, I'm not meaning to drag this out. I'm just saying is that it's worthwhile to have the parameters established.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So motion then to adopt the recommendations pertaining to the 2021 budget. Moved, seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. And 7A, council electronic device purchases. Before we adopt that, was there any further discussion that we wanted to have on that? Okay, so sorry, go ahead. Actually, let's move it first. Move to adopt the recommendation. Moved, seconded. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Cole.
We got a note from staff after the cow saying that we would keep the devices at the end of our term. And I think if we're making a motion, it should reflect that.
Yeah, we can do that. The other thing is too, once we have a policy in place, there isn't anything really that that we could do a buyback or something like that if you didn't want to keep the device. But yeah, we can move that it's kept after. How did you want the wording? Sorry, Councillor Cole.
Oh, we could
Like-
simply approve this motion and do another one after, but if you
Well,
could
Derek
somehow
is-
slip it in there.
Sorry, go ahead, Councillor Barron.
Is it because it says it's to be expensed to the requesting counselor? 'Cause
No,
if
yeah, I mean, I have some overall questions about if this affects our taxes and whatnot. The CAO hasn't got back to me on it, or the CFO, sorry. No, it's just that we got an email saying that we get to keep them in the meantime. So I think this motion should reflect that.
Well, my thought was if it was being expensed to us individually, that was a tax implication. And therefore, if you're paying taxes on something that you're getting it to keep. So I inferred, and maybe I'm wrong, but I inferred from the word expensed to the requesting counselor that meant you were keeping it.
I'll make the motion that we recognize as a council that these devices will be left with the counselor at the end of his term.
Was a motion on the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was there already a motion on the floor? I missed that. I forgot.
Okay, just to ask our CAO, Pete, did you have that answer for Derek about whether it was a taxable expense or taxable? You know what I'm trying to say, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. No, I haven't received that response either from our CFO, Claudia Frost. Yeah, I have reached out to her, but we just haven't come to that conclusion yet.
Taxable benefit, I would assume it is. Okay. All right, any further discussion? So with the change that it's kept with the counselor at the end of, council member at the end, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Okay, next we're going on to 7D, fire underwriters survey report. So this was something that council had asked for. I believe, Pete, you have a little bit of extra information on this as far as what you were able to arrange for us.
Thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. The additional information is that I did manage to get in touch with the fire underwriters, and they are willing to come and meet with council to answer any questions that you have on how the fire underwriters survey affects the community insurance rate, the equipment that we purchase, so forth and so on. The survey is quite comprehensive. I feel like I've barely touched the surface with this report, and there may or may not be some more burning questions that council has. One of the requests that the individual from Fire Underwriters has made is if we can get him questions prior to the meeting, so he's prepared to answer them to the fullest ability possible.
Okay, sorry, you froze, but it goes quickly and catches up to what you said, so it's all good. And do you know when he is able to meet with us? Like in the next week, 2 weeks?
I put the February 9th council meeting. However, if we want to defer it to a later meeting, I'm happy to do that.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Barron.
My question was just if they come to a council meeting and they have delegate status, is it not capped? Would this be better in a COW so that they can actually give us a bit of background, present it, and then we can ask the questions and have the banter back and forth. If we do it at a council meeting and it's supposed to be done within 10, 15, 20 minutes, that might only be the answer to one question.
Yeah, and I was going to, sorry, when Pete, just a second, what I was going to suggest, and I know we ran into a little bit of controversy the last time, but perhaps starting a meeting at 6:30 with underwriters coming, depending on the amount of questions that are asked. If there's a fair bit of them, then we know we're going to need a little bit of extra time. Pete, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. It is council's right to, by vote, to extend past the 10 minutes for any amount of time that you like during a regular council meeting.
We can also see how full the agenda is, because I certainly wouldn't want to, rush through anything else. If we have got a full agenda, it might be worthwhile to start a little bit earlier. But if we don't, then starting at 7 would be just fine. So I would, it's just for information at this stage then, and I would encourage council to have a read through and make sure you get all the questions in. Go ahead, Councillor Cole.
Thank you, Mayor Wickstrom. Yeah, I just had a question in the meantime. I was a little confused. Pete, are we a rating of 7 or 8 at the moment?
Through Mayor Wickstrom to Councillor Cole, we are a rating of 7 right now.
Okay, so I was a little confused by on page 25, the 4th paragraph down, and it says non-replacement of our second line apparatus as recommended would likely drop us to a rating of 8 in the PFPC. So if we're already at 7, we drop lower to 8 is what is the, okay. I keep getting the numbers back. I wanted, and I noticed in the literature, the 5% reduction or the rate goes up for commercial insurance per rating. I don't know. So I just want to make council aware of that. I don't know if you caught that, but perhaps there's a case to be made to raise business taxes with the argument business insurance rates will go down 5%. So that's something I'd like to explore. And I just wanted to put that out there at this moment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to just make a comment on the having the secondary, like the backup truck, and putting us on that 10-year replacement cycle. In the meeting that I had with the mayors, that's one of the things that Port Hardy is struggling with right now, because they don't have that 10-year cycle, and so they're looking at huge replacement costs because they haven't hit the cycle quite right. So we're actually quite fortunate that we're able to rotate one out and the next one in for the secondary truck if we can keep it in this kind of a time frame. Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that the tax increase could go towards the fire department to get a better rating, i.e. better fire truck.
Yep.
Is what I was getting at. Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Okay, Councillor Mitchell.
The only note I made on here was that the person who's making the presentation from fire underwriters is not an insurance underwriter, and it would be good to hear from the insurance underwriter how our rating is actually going to affect insurance, because they're the ones that make that call. Nobody else makes it for them. They make the call. So it'd be good to hear from them. I think that myself, this is a lot of material. I don't need it explained as much as I need to know, is there a cost benefit to us? Because that's really what this is all about, is numbers. So maybe we want to hear from an insurance underwriter who's going to say, yeah, if you're 8, you're going to pay this. If you're 7, you're going to pay that. And then that's really all we need to know. Do we need to have a detailed understanding of this process? I'm not sure. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say about it.
I believe also that Janet Dorwood is that on the North Island. I think she's the only one here. So she's somebody that we could also have come and speak as well. Okay, so receive for information then. And with underwriters coming, I know that, Anne Marie, I know that you asked that was a request that you had. You wanted underwriters to come and explain that report to us. I know that I wanted to hear that as well. So from that meeting, we could probably invite Janet as a follow-up as well. Okay. Sorry, I just looked to make sure nobody else had anything to say. It's got my head down, I can't see. Item E, 2020 Annual Harbor and Information Center Report. One thing that I would like to ask, Pete, if we could have this emailed, or if I could have it emailed. I found that when you and I were going through reviewing the agenda, it was great because it was in color, but it's kind of meaningless in black and white. I can't differentiate. Yeah, I can't differentiate the colors, the shades of gray. So if maybe, I don't know if the rest of council would like that as well, but it was much more glorious in a colored form. Any questions from the report though? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Cole.
Just to comment that trails are way up there, and it's like they're looking for ferries and trails, and we have a good economic development opportunity that people are looking for trails. We can support and supply that, but from my perspective, we really haven't done anything.
Okay. Oh, I did notice that Rebecca is here as well. Any questions for Rebecca? Sorry, I just saw her name light up there at the bottom of the screen. So was there anything you wanted to add since you were so kind to come, Rebecca? Was there anything you wanted to add to the report?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, then move receipt. Okay. Next we go on to November and December Public Works report. Just for information. Do we have any more information on the it says here investigation ongoing for the wind turbine? You heard anything, or it's like insurance still deciding, Pete? Or is that Julian who's doing that? Sorry.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. Yeah, for sure. Been in contact for sure with the insurance adjuster, and basically at this stage, they're willing to sort of reappropriate the funds for something other than a wind turbine. I'm just waiting to hear back from the manufacturer of the turbine as to a replacement cost, so I can get that to the insurance.
And then once we have that dollar figure, we can find out what or you'll make a recommendation for replacement?
For a replacement
of
of a different kind, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, Councillor Downey, did you have a question? Okay, sorry, you're unmuted. Any other questions for Julian? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go on to, that was easy today, Julian.
It was easy. That's great. Thank you. I like easy.
Wait for your next one. Okay. 2021 Canada Summer Jobs Grant. Looking for direction. So apply again. Move that. Oh, I don't know why. Oh, you know what? If you go to your microphone, if you're on a laptop, if you go to that little arrow, and it should say select microphone, and then whatever that's called, select that, and then we should be able to hear you. So on the mute, where the mute button is, there's a little arrow that looks like this. And then it'll say select microphone. Nope. Darn it.
Could I speak in the
Okay, go
meantime?
ahead. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I just wondered about Public Works mentioned the brushing out the airport, and it's something we could use the used summer employee. It was a pretty high number attached to that, 20,000 or something. And I just wondered if that was worth considering. And I think this is obviously for next year's. We had just kind of deferred the 2020 program, but yeah, I support this. It's something we've done for years.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm really hoping, I understand that they have a new person that they're liaising with from that last chunk of money, which was more money than we'd ever gotten for summer student funding. And so I'm really hoping that the government decides just to say you can keep it for this season. That would be really great. But as of yet, we haven't heard anything one way or another. Is that correct, Pete? Oh, and
Well,
Laura's there. I could ask Laura, sorry.
yeah, it is. We have heard back, however, as we discussed at a previous meeting, the stipulations that they put on us were very constrictive, and we had a very hard time making use of the funding that they gave us.
So yeah, in the interim, we'll continue to try to wrangle and keep that money, but move then for Laura to apply for the 2021 Canada Summer Jobs Program. Moved, seconded. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Thanks. Okay. So item 9A, council meetings, just wanted to just find out from council. I wanted to let you know that I reached out through a forum, Female Mayors Forum, and another forum that I'm on, and just tried to find out what other councils are doing at this time. So basically everybody's in the same boat. Those that are meeting with in person in council chambers actually have plexiglass all around them in each station that they're at. Some are completely online like we are, and some are doing a hybrid. So just wondering, moving forward with at least till February 5th, I don't know if these don't go visit anybody in anybody else's home and don't leave your community is going to continue. But what's the feeling with council moving forward while we're still under these tight restrictions? Just wanted to get some input. Are you trying to talk, Shelley, or are you just, yeah, no, I can't hear you at all. Go ahead, Councillor Barron. Oh, something just happened there, Shelley. Oh, she just unplugged. That's what it was. Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Barron.
I have a mask issue, so I would much rather not. I would much rather be meeting in person, but I would rather not wear a mask. So I would stick to this venue until we can actually get back together.
Yeah. How do you feel, Shelley? Okay. Oh man. Do you know, I did want to ask, did you try to trace that equipment? If we purchased the equipment that's better for hearing, you know, the council chamber microphone and stuff. Did we figure out where that is? I know it was ordered quite a few weeks ago.
I will defer this question to our deputy finance officer,
Okay.
Laura.
Okay, go ahead, Laura.
Yeah, so we ordered it December 14th and it just shipped last week.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I guess until that comes as well, I know that the current one, even if we could get plexiglass dividers, it's still going to make it very difficult for those who are partaking on Zoom to hear. Yeah, so I guess we're doing this for a little while until such times that restrictions ease or we get the new equipment and we can reassess. Thank you. Sorry, Shelley, that you're not able to participate fully this evening. I can hear you a little bit. You just have to talk loud. So, okay, 10A, Councillor Cole, his report. Just for information. Did you want anything you want to add to that? No.
No, thank you. Unless there's any questions, of course.
I know that the home-based knowledge network contract at the regional district table, it was awarded. So it's Kerry Jotham. You might have heard his name. He's going to be doing the program. And yeah, so that was awarded. And that'll be getting going. That's the home-based knowledge worker attraction. Can you explain what that is exactly for me, Derek? And others
Sure,
that might be listening?
Yeah, it's kind of in the name. So it's after knowledge workers, so people working from home over the internet, and us being in a enviable position of having fiber, we're very good candidates. So it's to find out what kind of people, what they're looking for in a new area. It'll canvass people from outside our area to see what they're looking for. It'll canvass people who have come here to do that kind of work. At the end of the day, it will be a website promoting our area for home-based knowledge workers, and the timing is good with things like Zoom and you know, the spin-off COVID. People are working from home more than ever, so it's a good opportunity.
Thanks. All right, if there's no question, oh, go ahead, Councillor Downey.
Can you hear me now? Is that any better?
I can turn you up, so go ahead.
I just wanted to report that the tourism committee met last week and give you an update on the wayfinding signs. For our February 9th meeting, we hope to be able to present to councils the options and the choices that the committee has made, along with a couple quotes. And so we would be passing that over to council and then it's in council's court as to next steps to follow through and utilize the funding that we were given for that project.
Okay, great. And that will be expected in a week, for the next council meeting?
Yes.
Okay, great. Councillor Barron?
Sounds like the council meeting's getting full.
Yeah.
Harbor Committee met last week and they actually are putting together a report to council, which are hoping to circulate prior to the meeting and then possibly have Peter Darwin, the chair of the committee, come in as delegate status to answer any questions or help to present what's on paper, because it's a chicken scratch with some writing that goes along with it, and he doesn't think his chicken scratch is all that telling. So just a heads up, Pete, for the agenda. But is there an issue with that recommendation to council getting circulated prior to the agenda so that people can read about the project? Okay, thank you.
Good. Anything else? As Jerry would have said, for the good of the community. Okay, there are no items from in camera to be made public, but I would like a motion to go in camera as per Community Charter Section 91J. Moved, seconded. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, carried.
And 91C.
Oh, sorry, and 91C, Labor Relations. Yeah. All those in favor? Thank you very much, Councillor Barron. Questions from the public. First. And, oh, there's a question there in the chat. No questions. Catch you next meeting. Great. And none from the press either. And I don't see any from the public. We've got one there, John. Okay, so motion to adjourn and go in camera. Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We will see you in a few moments. Thanks.